All right, guys, now that we're done, we're ready to get our flight controller into our frame. So we're gonna get started with that, but one of the things that we're gonna do first is we're gonna get these little red standoffs, the rubbery standoffs into the flight controller. And a lot of people seem to have a problem with that. So I'm gonna show you guys a little quick way to do it. So take your motor enclosure or your motor case here, whatever this little plastic pieces that came with it, or take something that you have that you can pour a little bit of liquid in. So I'm gonna put a little bit in here. It's like a little bit of water, right? Just put it right in there just like this. This is one of many different ways to get this to work. So I'm just gonna get these just kind of a little wet there, just like that, right? Just enough to where they're a little slick. And then all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this right here and I'm gonna poke this straight through, just like this. And you don't have to do anything special, just keep pushing it, and because it's just gonna pop right in there if you just give it a little bit of pressure, just like that. Okay, so just give it, make it a little wet, and don't worry about, you're not gonna short the board out. I mean, don't sit there and pour a ton of water on it, but at the same time, please remember, as long as you're not applying power and this board is dry, you'll be just fine. So just don't make a bigger deal out of it. But look how easy it is. Once you put that in there just like that, it'll slide right into that hole, just like that. It takes 2 seconds to do. Saves you a whole bunch of headache. All right, so just get them a little damp. That's a little moist on that, and then press that in there. There you go. It takes 2 seconds to do it. Much easy way to do it. Now there's ways with a little bit of string you can use too, but I kind of like this method the best. It seems to work quick, and I haven't had a problem with it yet. So let me just, haven't broken one yet doing it this way. Let's just push that on there. And of course the last one, give me the hassle here. Push that through. Yeah. Now my hands are just slippery, so hold on. Let me get this thing where I need it, and then like, there you go. Should just push right in. Guess I could have dried my hand off, but that's all right. All right, maybe I will. 3 of them go good. Let me dry my hands off there. Hold it up. Once I dry my hands off, hopefully we should get this going. I'm just going to grab some of my tweezers here. There we go. Oof, of course, right when I say it. So that one, throw that out, but there you go. So just, like I said, make them a little damp. The problem is my fingers got really slippery then. I couldn't get any grip at all. But in either case, it's a quick way to do it normally. So now once we've got this set, let's go ahead and get our frame, which we assembled, which is right here. Okay. All right. Let's go to all this stuff put away a little bit. All right. Now, you do have a set of screws that came with this frame. We supplied it to you. Let me grab mine here, wherever I put them. Right here. So let's go ahead and open this bag here and dump out what we need. Okay. Let me show you what you've got here. First thing is you should have a 20mm screw, and it is. There's your 20mm right there. Okay. Just like that. And what you're going to do with these is you're going to go from the bottom and push that through to the top, just like that. Babe, have you seen my M2 screwdriver? My pink one? Do you see it anywhere? No?
I haven't run across it on these tables.
Yeah, I gotta find it real quickly. All right. So anyways, you're going to put this like this. Put these 4 in here. Hold them together and turn it over. And that way now they won't fall through. And now take your 1mm rubber spacer rings here and just push those down over it, just like that. Okay, and these actually perform 2 functions here. Number 1, they help to give distance from the flight controller to the carbon fiber, because as you may already recall, carbon fiber is conductive. That means that it can short. Okay, oh, my screw fell out. Hold on, let me put that back in. The other thing it'll do is once you put this all the way down, is it actually help to hold the screw from falling out, but it needs to be all the way down, and the screw can still fall out, but this just kind of helps prevent that. So just get these pushed all the way down, and now I need to find my screwdriver, which I don't know where it is. I'm sure I'll find it soon. All right, once you have that, take your flight controller, just like this, and place these 4 red spacers over the screws, just like that, the standoffs. Get them to kind of feed in there. There's 1. There's 2. And just look around and just make sure the screws are going right to the rubber standoffs like that, 3 and 4. Look at that, there you go. Okay, once you do that, just grab the screws, pull them up, and there you go, look at that. So now you have your screws set, right? Make sure everything looks good, and it does. Okay, so the next thing you want to do here, keep all your wiring straight. Next thing we want to do is we have our VTX, okay? So we're going to go ahead and do this anyway. So when you're done with your flight controller putting it on, take the next set of rubber rings and put those on top of the flight controller screw, just like that, okay? And that's going to help to give us distance to separate the flight controller from the VTX that we're going to put on, okay? There you go. And there you go. Just like that, all right? And now when that's done, let's look at what we've got left. This is our cable for our VTX. This is our cable for our buzzer finder, and this is the cable for our camera. We can leave those out this way. We can leave our receiver cable out that way, or we can bring it in. I'll just bring it in. And now we're gonna take our VTX and we're gonna place it over just like that. Okay, and that's it. And once you do that, you've got the wires out of the way, take the nylon fasteners that we have, you have 4 of them, and just kind of gently get them started, just so that you can kind of hold the screw in place and the screw doesn't fall out, okay? So we'll put all 4 of those on. Okay, there's 2. And we'll do these here. There we go. Okay, a little bit of a pain because they get away from you. But what you can notice there is that as long as your wires are done right, you're going to have a nice gap. You're not going to crank down on this. You're not going to tighten it too much, but you're going to have a nice gap where you should be able to see through. You should see a gap between your VTX and your flight controller. And you see, I can see, like if I got my finger underneath there, I can see it. And then you should have a nice gap between your flight controller and your frame, okay? And so that pretty much does it for the assembly. However, this is basically just to make sure everything fits properly. We still have got to put the motors on as well. Now I'm going to find my screwdriver here in a second, and I'm going to get started with the motors. Somewhere in this vicinity is my screwdriver. And no, I don't know. I don't know where I put it.
Well, can you use the blue ones?
I could, yeah, I could.
What size is it?
It's just a smaller one.
The 1.5?
Yeah. Okay, so Sam's going to bring me a regular screwdriver. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to basically tighten this down. But for those of you that are new to soldering or not comfortable with your soldering, you may not want to solder with this board on here because you still have to solder the motors on. So you may want to remove your VTX. That's up to you. Let's take these red screws that are right here. These are 5 mil. Let's take those and set those aside. Those are going to be for your camera. Thank you very much. All right. Now, if you were going to tighten this down, you basically want to push the screw through and just spin it with your fingers. Do not tighten this beyond a finger tighten, okay? Please don't try to play Hercules because it's not going to help you at all. Matter of fact, you don't really want to bring this board down at all. You want to just kind of just make it to where it's just sitting in place, and that's it, okay? So let's just do it, just a simple finger tighten, and that's it. I see people cranking these down all the time, and next thing you know, when you have a hard landing, your boards touch each other and you have a short. And that's the end of it. Oh, the board's junk, it's defective. No, it's not. It's just the work that was done was defective. Let's just leave it like that. Okay, and then we've got our last screw here. And there you go. Now, if you want to know if you've done it right, just eyeball it. Look at it. Does the board have any leaning to it? Is it angled one way or the other? Is it angled down? That means you've tightened the front screws harder than the back screws. Is it tilted left to right? And as long as it looks good, and this one looks good, that's it. It's not too tight. I mean, it is in place, it will hold, but it's not cranked down. I still see all my gaps in here. And if you see, I can put the screwdriver through, and you should see all the way through, you'll see that you can see the screwdriver, okay? I don't know if you can see that on the, between the VTX and the flight controller, but take my word for it, there's a gap there. So we've got a nice gap here, everything will stay cool. And that is the assembly of the flight controller and the VTX to the frame. And now we'll be back to start the motor section in just a second.